Who's that? Commander Claw. Who's bad? Commander Claw.
Yo, welcome to my channel. I am Commander Claw, your host, where everything is about EDH deck building. And today it is about Captain Howler Sea Scourge from the Aetherdrift set, going to be released on February 14th. You're probably here because you saw this on a spoiler, and who doesn't love sharks? Sharks and pirates. And honestly, when I saw this art, I thought of Street Sharks. So if you remember Street Sharks from back in the day, go ahead and hit that like button so I know how many people actually watched that show and watched this video. But first, I want to talk about this commander. I'm going to read his abilities first, then talk about the themes that I believe will work well. Then I'll bring you 5 cards that will work with different themes. And at the end of the video, go ahead and hit that subscribe button if I brought any value to you. And in the comment section, put any card suggestions that you think are necessary for this commander. Can't wait to see them and read to them and respond. All right, here we go. Captain Howler Sea Scourge, 2 blue and red, 5/4 body, legendary creature, shark pirate, shark tribal, pirate tribal. Here we come. Ward 2 and pay 2 life. Already right there, that is a lot. That's an on-site kill commander. This is in Voja, Jaws of Conclave range. That type of territory. Anyway, Captain Howler says whenever you discard 1 or more cards, target creature gets +2/+0 until end of turn for each card discarded this way. For each card discarded this way. Whenever that creature deals combat damage to a player this turn, you draw a card. So this has the Saboteur effect. Whenever you deal combat damage to a player, you draw a card. All right. What do I want to say about this? I automatically think wheels. We want to discard as many cards as possible to buff up either our commander or target creature. Like I said, we could buff up our commander or target creature. So if we buff up our commander, of course, we want to discard 8 cards. The magic number is 8 cards to get him at 21 power. So you discard 8 cards, that's +16 +0. He's a 5/4, that will make him a 21/4. Now there's ways to make him unblockable, flying, trample, menace. That's all possibilities here if you want to swing with commander damage. I also believe, actually I know, in the video I put another way to win with this commander. Can't wait to show you on it. It's probably like the 4th slide. But anyway, I want to say, don't forget extra combats for this commander. You're in red, and there's some sneaky synergy with mechanics out here for discarding cards, such as channel, jumpstart, and cycling. I had those at the end of the video also. But without further ado, hit the like button if you remember Street Sharks. If I brought any value to you so far, subscribe. On to the first abusive wheel effects. So of course, you know, out there's going to be Windfall. That's a staple for wheel effects. So I wanted to bring you some other ones. So we got here Change of Fortune for 4 mana. It's a sorcery. Discard your hand, then draw a card for each card you've discarded this turn. When you discard your cards, it's important to draw cards, because if you just discard your hand, you're left with nothing. Yeah. And also in this deck, whenever you decide to deck build it, don't forget artifacts or lands or cards that say you have no maximum hand size. That's pretty important in a wheel deck. Next up, we got Forgotten Creation. For 3 and a blue, a 3/3 body zombie horror. It has Skulk. This creature can be blocked by creatures with greater power. We're not going to use that for Captain Howler here. But his ability says, at the beginning of your upkeep, you may discard all the cards in your hand. If you do, draw that many cards. So this is good because you get to do this on each turn. On each turn, you get a new hand, discarding cards, and buffing up Captain Howler or another target creature continuously. Unfortunately, you won't be in control of the cards you want to play because you have a new hand. So you'll be forced to play all the cards that turn when you draw new cards from a wheel effect. So as you brew with this commander, I think it's important to put different types of discard effects and discard effects with other effects. First off, we got Key to the City. It's a 2-mana artifact. It says tap it, discard a card. Up to 1 target creature can't be blocked this turn. That works really well with Captain Howler or whatever other creature you want to swing with because they're unblockable. And there's nothing worse being on the opposite end of a commander that is unblockable and you lose by commander damage. Anyway, Key to the City says whenever Key to the City becomes untapped, you may pay 2. If you do, draw a card. That's also beneficial. You get to draw a card on the beginning of your upkeep or after it becomes untapped, after you tapped it. Okay, next up we got Ghostly Pilferer. This is actually one of my highly suggested cards. Ghostly Pilferer for 1 and a blue, 2/1 body, Spirit Rogue. Whenever Ghostly Pilferer becomes untapped, you may pay 2. If you do, draw a card. Cool. After you attack, you draw a card. Then it says whenever an opponent casts a spell from anywhere other than their hand, draw a card. That's sneaky good because players cast spells from their graveyards, they cast spells from exile, and they cast spells where else? Graveyard, hand, exile, and from the library. Yeah. But that's not where this card is important for this deck. For your deck building, consider adding Ghostly Pilferer because he has an ability that says discard a card. Ghostly Pilferer can't be blocked this turn. So with this discard a card, you can discard as many cards as you want. You have control of how many and which cards you want to discard for Ghostly Pilferer and Captain Howler. So, yes, let's say there's a situation where you got a bunch of cards and there's a couple cards you want to discard just to buff up that target creature or Captain Howler. And instead of doing a wheel effect, you just discard 3 cards. Or just the magic 8. I don't know. You will run into those scenarios. Moving on to win cons. So look, besides extra combat phases, you got to be able to take out opponents. And it's kind of pointless to buff up your creature to such a high power and not take advantage of its power. That's why we have Fling here. Fling, players. Fling. For 1 and a red, it's an instant. As an additional cost to cast a spell, sacrifice a creature. We're going to sacrifice a creature that we have a high power with. Fling deals damage equal to the sacrifice creature's power to any target. So, this is a scenario that goes through my mind. You're swinging with Captain Howler for commander damage, and your opponent has a Swords to Plowshare. They decide to pay the ward cost, which is an extra 2 and an extra 2 life, to get rid of Captain Howler. You're like, dang, I'm gonna lose my Captain Howler. After you done buffed him up, you can decide to fling him for 21 damage and take out somebody, hopefully. Not a bad last-ditch effort. Moving on to the next win con. Oh yeah, here's another win con. We got Blighted Agent. If you never played with poison counters, well, let me introduce you to poison counters. For 1 and a blue, 1/1 human rogue, this human rogue has Infect. When it deals damage to a player, they get a poison counter equal to the power of the creature. Blighted Agent is also unblockable. So, ideally, the scenario we want to do with Blighted Agent is to put him on the battlefield with haste and discard, let's see here, 5 cards when he's paired with Captain Howler. So 5 cards plus 2 plus 0, that makes it 11-1. That player gets 11 poison counters. If you connect, game over. Game over. Nice little extra win con here. Now this other card here is not really a win con, but if you decide to go Voltron equipment or want to add any advantageous equipment to Captain Howler, I suggest the Spear of Lenotis. For 2 and a red, it's a legendary artifact equipment. Whenever an equipped creature attacks, choose 1. Bull Rush, it gains double strike until end of turn. Okay, you already can pump up Captain Howler, nonetheless give him double strike. That's a win. Second ability is Summon. Create Phobos, a legendary 3/2 red horse creature token. We don't care about that. Alright, then it has Revelation. Discard 2 cards, then draw 2 cards. Let's see. That's not bad. You pump them up and you get to draw cards. And if you deal damage to a player, you get to draw another card. So literally, if you discard 2 cards, you give it +4/+0, and you got to draw 3 cards if you connected damage to a player. Not bad, not bad. Just setting players up. Also, the equip cost is only 2, which I think this is relatively affordable and easy to play with Captain Howler. So, enjoy this equipment. Anything I said so far, let me know in the comment section. Any other cards that are great suggestions. Otherwise, subscribe. Let me know what you... I got more content like this. I'm ready to bring out more cards. Let's go. Rielle the Everwise. For 1 blue and a red, 0/3 human wizard. She says Rielle the Everwise gets +1/+0 for each instant and source card in your graveyard. Okay, cool. This is not a spell cycle thing, so it doesn't really work, right? But whenever you discard 1 or more cards for the first time each turn, draw that many cards. That's where we like this card. I almost feel like this can be interchangeable. You can play with Rielle the Everwise as a commander or Captain Howler. But otherwise, Rielle works pretty well inside a Captain Howler deck just because you get the discard payoff. Whenever you discard a card, you get to draw a card. Only the first time each turn. Look, I know you players out there are excited to build Pirate Tribal. So let's share some cards that are awesome, that are pirate creatures. First up, we got Gem Cutter Buccaneer for 3 and a red, 1/3 body, Orc Pirate Artificer. Ooh. When Gem Cutter or another pirate enters the battlefield under your control, create a tapped treasure token. Not bad. That's like the Storm Killing Artist. Every time you cast a instant search spell, you get to create a treasure token. Whenever you play a pirate this time, you play your commander Captain Howler, you get to create a treasure token. Then it says treasures you control are equipments in addition to other types, and have equipped creature gets +2/+0, equip pirate for 1 and equip 3. So obviously this is going to work well with Captain Howler. All those treasure tokens you're probably going to be making in an Izzet colored deck anyway, they turn into equipments that are +2/+0. My God, that is pretty beefy. And that just allows you to discard less cards to Captain Howler's effect. So you get to keep more cards and have a higher power and lower toughness. And it's equip only 1. Pretty quick. Next up, we got Mary Reed and Anne Bonny for 1 blue and a red, 3/3 body, human assassin pirate. She has haste. So that means when she comes in, you can draw a card and discard a card just by tapping her. Then whenever you discard an island, pirate, or a vehicle, create a tapped treasure token. Yeah, you're going to be discarding cards often and probably going to meet this criteria. So, create a tapped treasure token. This is mana ramp on it's not a commander, it can be a commander, but on a creature. On a discard outlet. Works. Breaking Skyshark Rider. Very popular partner commander. We all know it's cool to put it with Shabraz Sky Shark. This is Shark Tribal Matters right here. For 3 and a red, a 3/3 body, she says whenever you discard a card, put a +1/+1 counter on Breaking Sky Shark Rider, and it deals 1 damage to each opponent. That's a great way to ping opponents, get their life totals down. So if you're discarding 8 cards, that is 8 damage and a total of 8 +1/+1 counters on Breaking. Gross. Then it also says tap a red, target shark gains trample till end of turn. So you literally can swing with 2 creatures, Breaking and Captain Howler at the same time. Give Captain Howler a trample, discard all the cards from a wheel effect or some kind of other effect. You buff up Breaking at the same time, and you ping all your opponents at the same time. That's a nasty 2 little duet right there on the battlefield. Yeah. Okay, next up we got Shark Typhoon. For 5 and a blue, enchantment. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, that means artifacts, planeswalkers, instants, sorceries, enchantments, create an XX blue shark creature token with flying, where X is that spell's converted mana cost. I really think this is good for just Shark Tribal Matters. I wouldn't put this in this deck building deck here. I would try to focus on Voltron. Yeah. But, it's a nice little, creating powerful blockers. Also, it has cycling. Tap X and 1 and a blue. Discard this card, so that counts, to draw a card. But when you cycle Shark Typhoon, create an XX blue shark creature token with flying. So that works. It's a discard card effect. Moving on to the final cards here. Okay, we got mechanics that discard. Maximize altitude for a blue is a sorcery. Target creature gets +1/+1 and gains flying until end of turn. Jumpstart. Jumpstart says you may cast this card from your graveyard by discarding a card in addition to paying its other cost. Then exile this card. This card is good because if you wield this card, you have put it into your graveyard. And you can cast this card from your graveyard on a later turn to give Captain Howler flying, and you have to discard a card in your hand in order to activate Jumpstart. So essentially, you're giving Captain Howler +3/+1. Synergy right there. Synergy right there. Next up, we got Ironhoof Boar. For 5 and a red, 5/4 artifact creature boar, trample, haste, but it has the mechanic channel. 1 and a red, discard Ironhoof Boar, target creature gets +3/+1 and gains trample until end of turn. That's good, because if you discard this with your channel ability, essentially Captain Howler got +5/+1 and trample. Synergy, synergy, synergy. Moving on to the summary. You're welcome. If you liked any of this content, subscribe. Captain Howler, my overall opinion on this bad boy commander, I think the artwork is super cool. First of all, I think the tribal is super cool, sharks and pirates. The flavor of it is just amazing. Otherwise, I think it's a Voltron Commander for Izzet colors. Also, play your wheel effects with this bad boy because it's going to be fast-paced, and you will be a glass cannon, in my opinion. It's a glass cannon type of commander, and you will be rewarded by taking out players effectively and efficiently on curve. And what makes him amazing, he has Ward 2 and Pay 2 life. So that mathematically puts any type of 1 mana removal at 3 and 2 life. That's a heavy cost. That's a really heavy cost to pay for players, for opponents. Why it's mathematically good? If you never played against Voja, it literally forces the opponent to commit a turn to removing your commander. That is pretty devastating. So with this glass cannon type of commander, don't be afraid to cast them on curve, play your stuff. Just expect players to have more board wipes coming up in all these sets, and load your deck building deck with counterspells so you can keep your bad boy Captain Howler Sea Scourge on the battlefield. Thank you for watching this video. I'm Commander Claw. Like I said, in the comment section below, go ahead and add any other card suggestions that I didn't go over. I know there's more. So peace out, y'all. And don't forget to subscribe.